Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
Today we're covering the anime movie Suzume.
And this movie became one of the next big anime movies for not only theaters, but also Crunchyroll. And this film follows a high school who becomes entangled in a mission with a mysterious man who must keep an evil entity from engulfing several parts of Japan and ending the world. But
yeah, it just escalates. Before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click the notification buttons on future podcasts and little pause videos.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us and thanks for supporting us. We really appreciate you. The main reason we watch this is because of Josh Keaton.
For you, definitely.
For everyone. Oh, okay. We were so happy when he made the announcement on Twix, that's Twitter and X, that he was voicing a chair. And we were excited thinking he was only voicing a chair, not knowing he was voicing the main character, Soda Munakata.
Yeah.
We were very, very happy. One of the two MCs of the movie.
Right. And we heard about this movie for a while, but at the time it was at the theaters and we weren't able to go. So we were waiting for it to hit Crunchyroll. And when it finally did, we added to the watch list. And it took us a little bit to actually get on it because of other commitments to different shows and things. But one day we finally said, hey, let's sit and watch this. Let's see if it's any good and try it out. It's not Your Name, but it's done by the same director and creator of Your Name. So we could see some elements of that in there. So we started watching and it starts off very strange. And then it picks up about maybe 20 or 30 minutes in. And this is like a nearly 2-hour movie, right? So, yeah.
A little over. It's 122 minutes.
Okay, yeah, a little over 2-hour movie. So, at least in the length of the film itself, it doesn't take too long out of it to get started.
So this is released in theaters November 11th, 2022. Earned in Japan initially and then elsewhere around the world, having a box office of 323 million worldwide. Yay for Japan.
Yay!
And then it was released on Crunchyroll in 2023. So those of us that didn't get to see it in the theaters got to see it on Crunchyroll.
Right. And dubbed. You can see a sub or a dub. You have the option of both.
Thanks for saying that. So the dub cast, for those of you who like to watch dub, we have Nicole Sakura as Suzume Awato, Josh Keaton, as we mentioned, as Munakata, Jennifer Sun Bell, Roger Craig Smith, Amanda C. Miller, Allegra Clark, Cam Clark, and Rosalie Chiang, and I'm sure some other voice actors for other minor characters.
Right.
But these are the voice actors who got to dub the version for Crunchyroll.
Right. And we weren't really sure what to expect from this movie because the way it starts off pretty calm because it seems to like they're starting off with these people going to high school. It seems to be the main thing now. It's not with them going to high school in a movie every time now. And on her way to school, she meets this man. Now, don't know his name, but you'll remember him clearly.
Right.
And spends the whole movie trying to find him. It's like, man, you just saw him for like 10 seconds. And when she gets to the school, she ends up seeing this big red worm-like thing appearing in the sky, and no one else can see it but her. And then they get an alert that an earthquake is coming. And when the earthquake is over, she doesn't even see this little worm thing anymore. And it seems like already the movie starts in with the supernatural, because it does have a lot of that in there, a supernatural element. And within 10 minutes, it already starts with something possibly world-ending is coming to Japan, and someone normal has to stop it.
Now, if you are thinking this looks really familiar and you haven't seen any of his other movies, this is the brainchild of Makoto Shinkai, who also is known for Your Name and Weathering With You, as well as other great anime movies. And true to form, this movie became the fourth highest grossing Japanese anime film of all time, and it was the fourth highest grossing film of 2022. So it was the fourth in both.
Right.
But when you look at it, it looks like Your Name.
Right.
We're still trying to watch Weathering With You. If you know where we can watch it, let us know in the comments below. But it looks familiar because it is familiar. It's got that same feel. It's got that same vibe. It has the beautiful animation animation. It has the characters that span different looks and different personalities. And you've got some quirky characters in here too.
Yes.
That you really didn't see in your name, but they've got some really quirky ones in here.
Right.
One that is Munakata's friend, and then one that is Iwato's aunt.
Yes. And well, they're not on screen for majority of the film. They still make an impact on the characters and onto the viewers because pretty much the entire cast has a lot of personality to them. Regardless of how long or short they're on screen, you end up remembering them, and they become so lovable and enjoyable that they feel like they're part of the main story and the main cast. Even when they're not involved with saving the world, it still makes an impact on you. And there's that, just that well written in comparison to some other films where we see, oh, they have a character here, and then they throw them out, or they use wasted potential, or they're never used in the first place, and they're stuck in being the concept art. It is nice to see that every character in here, regardless if they were integral to the plot or not, were enjoyable to be around, and there weren't a bunch of bullies or huge villains or the mean girls, the mean boys, and none of that in here for once.
Now, the movie was criticized for the effects of the, we'll just say the monster that appears in here, or the creature. And when I looked at it, it reminded me of Demon Slayer and the demon that took over the Mugen train.
Right.
That's what it looked like to me.
And to me, it looked like the creature from the Upside Down in Stranger Things.
That's true. It does look like that when it's in the air.
Yeah.
But when it's rising in form, it's got that same bubble effect as the demon on Mugen train. Well, they call the effect cheap CGI, placed over an otherwise quality animation and blended poorly. It does stand out from the rest of the movie, but maybe that was intentional.
Right.
Maybe because it was supposed to be jarring and was supposed to get your attention, and you're supposed to realize this isn't normal. This isn't supposed to be a part of their lives. Maybe they did it on purpose. That's what I'm thinking, because from all the other beautiful movies he's made, and this to be the criticism, and you haven't seen anything like this in his other films, maybe he was attempting to do something different to make it more jarring and to have more of an effect and an impression. I found it fine, but we just thought of two other movies when we saw it. Other than that, it was fine.
Right. And I think another thing that they probably criticize it for, because this is how people are, Josh Keaton's character, what was his name again?
How dare you?
What? I remember Munakata. I think people were probably upset because Sota was not in human form for a majority of the film. He was in the beginning, bits of the middle, and then the very end when the spell or curse is broken. And he ends up being turned into the chair that she carries around, and then she is like, you know, having a fling thing with the chair.
I thought some of those parts were hilarious. I kept saying, but she's seen him as human. She knows he's human, so it's okay. It'd be different if he was a chair when she met him, and she was still doing this with a chair, but she knew he was human, so it was okay.
I guess, yeah. And it's like, I know probably they were upset they didn't get to see him in human form the whole movie. Someone probably felt cheated and said, I'm not watching this. And it's like, are you even caring about the story at this point? Because this isn't even a worthy criticism. It's like, I didn't get to look at him for 2 hours, and...
Yeah, you kept saying, he reminded us of the Ghibli boys, and then he also reminded you said, of Aaron. So it was kind of like a cross between them.
Yeah, he does.
But it's really beautiful to look at, and as Rascal said in the beginning, it starts off strangely, but that's to be expected from Shinkai's movies. And then once you get into the storyline and you understand what it's about, then everything before this seems strange makes sense.
Right.
And you see relationships that in here are kind of shaky, and they begin to be healed by the end of the movie. And there's multiple ones of those, so it's not just one. And no, the cat that's in here, gotta mention the cat.
Yeah, the Jin, I think?
The Jin, yeah. His name, they call him,
yeah, Daijin.
Daijin. And we're like, okay, so it's a genie. And they said it's, I guess the lore, Japanese god.
Yeah, the thing they have in the houses sometimes.
Right,
Yeah.
and we're like, but Jin in America always refers to genies.
Right.
But Dajin, yeah. And that cat, oh my gosh. The cat can be cute when it's getting love and appreciation and it feels like it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
But when you criticize it and berate it, or like Awato told her, go away, it just all of a sudden it shriveled up and looked
like malnourished, or out of, like it just came out of the water.
So it was interesting how that was in there, but I think personally that was put in there as a reminder to people that this is what can happen with humans.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, there are relationships in here that are kind of rocky in the beginning and the middle of the film, but end up working themselves out and getting better at the end. So I think for me, Dajin represents how people can be depending on their environment, because for these relationships, it's depending on the environment how each individual is responding. So I thought that was a brilliant way to work it into this movie, where at first you think this character is like, what the heck is this character doing? And at first you think Dajin is causing the problems, and then you find out later that it's something totally different.
Yeah.
And then you find out this cat is not what you thought it was. And then you see another cat that you think is the mama cat because it treats it like the mama cat, but then you find out it's not the mama cat.
There's something else on top of it.
A Mickey. So it gets really, really interesting.
Right. And there is so much more that happens in the movie, and as you said, it's more about the personal relationships with people. And it's one of those things where it's a creature that feeds off negative energy. And for some, they can get behind that, and some can't. For here, it's just more of like the worst case scenario of someone having bad relationship, bad emotion, bad affection, so strong that it could really break the world or break reality. And for some, it seems like it's far-fetched or blowing smoke and trying too hard to be serious, but a lot of people don't realize that it is true in a way for a lot of people. So it just found a supernatural and fantastical way to deliver that message, especially when you have Suzume traveling. She's meeting all these different strangers as she's following the cat.
Yes.
So it really hammers in that without hitting you over the head with it.
And those are some really fun parts of the movie.
Especially McDonald's being in there.
Yes, actual McDonald's and other plugs for other brands we won't tell you.
Right.
And last but not least, some critics criticize it for being predictable. Well, sometimes you like that in a movie.
Sometimes.
And I think in here, with all of the fantasy and supernatural that was going on, some predictability was needed to keep it from being so out there that people didn't really quite understand it or like it. I think for me, it was a good balance.
Right. I agree too.
So if you've seen Suzume, and we hope you have, let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you like it? Did you think it was up to Shinkai's standards for his other movies? Let us know what you think. And if you haven't seen it, it's available on Crunchyroll to stream, dub or sub. Let us know what you think by coming back and making a comment.
Yep, and if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and leave your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for supporting us and for joining us. We really appreciate you more than you know. And if you'd like to make a request for us to cover a movie or series, whether it's Western animation or anime, let us know in the comments below.
Yes, thank you so much for watching. I'm African Entertainment.
Now, Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.